This is the opposing views, the counter show with the Eric Ten Hag in and the Eric Ten Hag out. You know the duo. It's me and I got my buddy Drex in the background. He's gonna come in shortly. But if you're new, take this time to smash those like buttons and subscribe. And if you're always here, get in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. You know what I mean? Let's get right into it, guys. And we're back, and you know what it is. It's your boy, and let me get Drex right into the building. What's going on, bro? How are you doing tonight? You got a
Yo,
little
I'm
bit of a
good.
tight show planned for everyone.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just taking it one day at a time with this new 25% whatever it is that we're getting. I just hope that he comes soon, you know. So yeah,
Well,
can't
yeah,
complain.
it may have came sooner than you think because today Sir Jim Ratcliffe was reported to have meetings at Carrington with Eric Ten Hag and the coaching staff, as well as other members of staff, as they start to implement their changes. And let's jump right into let's jump right into the presentation and see what's going on, my bro. Let's jump right into it. You know, where you go? Are you here, bro?
I'm here. I hear you.
Cool.
I just can't hear any sound.
You can't hear any sound.
Oh yeah, I hear you now. I hear you now. I hear you.
Big up, big up. Well, let's get right into the presentation. As you can see, Eric Ten Hag, big and bold, because it's the era of ETH at Manchester United, guys. It's
hmm
Manchester United trending. Sir Jim Ratcliffe in Manchester for meetings with Eric Ten Hag and the coaching staff. And it is said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe met with Eric Ten Hag today and will continue meetings until the end of the week as they discuss the changes and additions to the United background with the structure coming into place. As reports have it that Dan Ashworth is coming in, as well as my as well as Paul Mitchell and the CEO Laurent Blanc. So guys, Drex, let me know what you're thinking, my bro. You know how it is.
Yeah. It's just like any new boss coming in, right? So everybody's we don't know what to expect except the boss himself. So the boss has his plan. We just hope that whatever plan that they're looking at, it benefits United, if you know what I mean. So I just take it with a pinch of salt and hope he because I'm not too comfortable with the Mitchell thing, if you know. I'm not too really keen on the Paul Mitchell guy, right? So for me, it's just let him just come, do what he needs to do, and we take it out from there. That's my own take. But I heard the report that he is not Paul Mitchell is not the only one going to be coming in. We're going to be getting the someone else come alongside with Paul Mitchell. So yeah, let's just see. At the end of the day, let's see how things unfold, and maybe it might just be for the best. You never can tell.
Yeah, you know how it is. So let's keep it
Yeah.
moving. Let's not stick too long on this topic. As
Mhm.
we do know, Manchester United, maybe under direction of Sir Jim, they have terminated the loan with Serge Regulon. He's already back in Tottenham, or ready to resume his career, possibly for a move to Borussia Dortmund to join
Mhm.
the likes of
Mhm.
others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. What are your thoughts on Serge Regulon learn being
Yo,
terminated short?
he I don't think he was okay for a couple of games, but it's not like he actually contributed anything that I would say was like super astounding, right? He was more like Tyra Malacia for me, right? So Yeah, it is what it is. It's gone back. Maybe the club are looking to save whatever they can, whatever penny they could save from salaries and all of that, right? Because I think we United are the one covering his wages, if you know what I mean. So
Hmm.
yeah, saving a little bit on that front, and like we said, the new structure, everybody, the boss is coming in with his own style. Let's see what it brings. But for me, that means Reguilon going back, because even with Reguilon in the team, we've seen is Dallo play taking more of the left back position, right?
Hmm.
When Aaron Basaka is playing the right back. Now with Luke Shaw back, um, yeah, there's really no need. I actually I actually had the thought that United might cut the loan short. I think they were looking to do the same thing with Cucurella, right? So the thing of okay having the player for on loan for the season with an option to cut it short by January. I always felt they were going to use that card. I always felt they were you going to use the option because
Okay.
Luke Shaw is back. We have Johnny Evans fit at the moment. We have Varane at the moment. What's his name? I know Lindelof had surgery personal, like the manager said. Maguire anytime soon might be coming back. So it's just he might be deemed surplus to requirements. So, but
100%.
one thing I would say is when that guy played for United, he played like he's been there, he's been here for like what all his life. He actually gave his all. You could see he didn't hold back. He gave his all, whether people would argue okay he wants to put himself back on the minds of maybe Tottenham and the coaching at Tottenham, right? But at the end of the day, he was professional when he was called upon. He did his bits, and some people might say he's not good enough, but guess what? He actually did his played his part, played his role. I remember the manager saying he was ill at the time, but he also actually played. So kudos to him. Long cut short, United doing what they know how to do best, and I think the guy's career might have gotten a little bit of spark to get maybe another club to look at him and be like, okay, you know what, let's take a gamble with this guy if Tottenham deem him surplus to requirement.
100%. And I think it also has something to do with the fact that, Manchester United and Tottenham are both looking at this talent from Genoa called Dragausen. So I think because both teams are going in for Man United are getting, cutting the wage bill down so they could make some room, I guess, for some, incomings as well. You never know. As you know, Donny van der Beek also left. He's on his way to Eintracht Frankfurt. He's there today. He's supposed to have his first game this weekend if everything goes well. Let's see how it goes. You
Can
know
I
what I
can I
mean?
just can I just throw chip something in that John Donny van der Beek thing? Now I've
Mhm.
been on Twitter. This not really. I just went on Twitter just a few seconds while I was on break, right? And I saw a few comments from people like, "Oh, Donny van der Beek, go unleash yourself." The managers, the see, I know I want Eric Ten Hag out, right? But I don't like it when people start insulting people, someone that they would not when they see the person face to face, they can't even tell him to his face, right? You don't
Mhm.
insult someone because you feel like, oh, you're a keyboard merchant, right?
Mhm.
Stop, like, don't call him names. Now you're saying, okay, Eric, Donny van der Beek, you've been unleashed, go do your thing, prove what's the word they actually use? Is it fraud or something like that? The guy actually used, prove him
Ball
wrong and
fraud.
all. Yeah, I'm like, and I made a comment. I'm like, yo, first of all, this manager in charge, he didn't buy Donny van der Beek. Now,
100%.
Ole, the manager that got Donny van der Beek in did not want Donny van der Beek at the time. He wanted a Jack Grealish. But Woodward, in his banking mind, felt it was okay to get Donny van der Beek because guess what? Real Madrid were going for him at that time. So you know what? Let me get him. And he thought he was going to do something like he was pulling up a genius move, but he ended up just being not because now I don't put the share blame on Donny van der Beek, right? And I wouldn't put
100%.
it on either Oli or Eric Ten Hag because clearly Eric Ten Hag did not really. If Eric Ten Hag really fancied him, he would have used him. Don't forget it was Eric Ten Hag who let him go when he was at Ajax, right? So um yeah, injury was he had his own spell of with injury and all of that, unlucky spell, right? But people should not start looking at the manager in charge and be like, okay, this guy couldn't use you, he doesn't know what to do with you. This man can use Donny van der Beek in a system. He used Donny van der Beek in the same Ajax team that Donny van der Beek was part of the Ballon d'Or nominees, right? So when people keep talking about him like is a dad, call him all sort of name, it doesn't make sense. It means that you're just more of a recency bias kind of person. You don't know what you're talking about. Fair play to Donny
100%.
van der Beek fighting for to go to the German Bundesliga. Let's see what he's made of, right? Let's see, because he couldn't cut it at Everton. Injury was his problem at the same time. But I don't think he actually did anything superb to actually that caught my eyes. So let's just see. I'll keep an eye on him while at Frankfurt, because he's going to be on loan, and let's see, because people tend to like to talk just because they don't like somebody. I want the
100%.
manager out, but I wouldn't
Blame
just
him for all
be
these things that he has no part in.
yeah, I wouldn't
Fair
just be
enough.
putting things on him that he has no control about. It was United. United made this signing, and United failed at it, and that's it. That's it. We've had managers that don't even the great Sir Alex. There are some players he never wanted, but he had to use them. At the same time, he let them go. Right? If let me give you a quick example. Makeda,
Hmm.
the young kid Makeda that played for under Sir Alex.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, if he was in this era, player fans would be screaming that boy should be given a chance. Fans will be, it's just sometimes I just see it as recency bias, or I just see the lack of knowledge about the game. It is what it is, man. Kudos to Donny
100%.
van der Beek. I wish him all the best, and I hope mine is not about proving any manager right or proving any manager wrong. Do it for yourself, get your career back on track, and make the best of the time you have in Frankfurt. Put yourself on the shopping window, and you might just get a big move to maybe an EPL club, or a permanent stay in the Bundesliga, and your career is back on track. That's all I have to say.
100%. And I'm gonna see lots of him because my buddy got a season ticket for Eintracht, so I'm gonna be going to games to check
Oh,
him out, see what's going
that,
on. And
that's
as
good.
and I would also say this, people might dislike it, but bro, I live not too far from Dortmund Stadium, so I'm probably gonna see a few games if Sancho is playing. I'm probably gonna go check it out just to see what's going on. You know what I mean? Just saying. And as I go on, I talk about that. Jaden Sancho is off to Dortmund. Loan deal is done and dusted. He leaves tomorrow, and he will be rejoining the club that we bought him for £75 million on loan, while we pay a third of his salary wages. Hopefully, I'm not too mad at this. I'm just hoping that he pulls up all the trees in the world in the next few weeks, maybe
Yeah.
scores 25 goals or 20 goals, and maybe we get a 50-60 million pounds for him. You know what
No,
I mean?
but
Or
but oh,
he
the,
comes back into United hungry and ready to work and rejoin the Ten Hag era.
wait,
If Ten Hag
the
is willing to
question,
take him back.
bro. The question is, if Ten Hag is still here, right,
Hmm.
and he comes back from his loan spell, right,
Hmm.
will he apologize? Because he still has to do that, whether we like it or not. He still except except there is except there is something that the fans wouldn't get to know. But if he see, don't get me wrong, Ten Hag doesn't see Sancho as a waste. Like, if you know what I mean. Ten Hag sees Sancho as his talent, but the boy has to work on his personal attitude. He has to work on his attitude. He has to work on his. The manager demands some level of professionalism outside playing, outside your skill set and your whatever it is, right? Your talent. You'd have you'd have to get some level of hard work in yourself, right? So if he apologizes, fine, and he does well in the Dortmund and he comes back, fine. But my own thing is, whatever the case may be, we shouldn't be selling him to Dortmund for 30 million pounds, except he decides to go to Dortmund and just tell Dortmund, don't worry, I won't pull up trees, so I just make my stay permanent here. So you can afford me for 30 million. Other than that, we shouldn't be selling him for. He's 23 years old or 24, for crying out loud. Shouldn't be selling
100%.
that guy. You shouldn't be selling him for anything less than 50.
In my honest opinion, I would really, really like him to go there, find a strong vein of form, and Ten Hag somehow gets Man United to top four. He's here next season. Sancho comes back, apologizes, maybe even apologizes while he's away in Dortmund, and prepares himself for a return. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Right now, I think it's the best for all parties because we already have enough
100%.
wingers that we need
100%.
to give game time to see if they can manage and if they can handle playing for the club and whether or not we have room for them on game time. Because remember, we are down to maybe 1 or 2 games a week, seeing that we have no
But
longer in Europe and we just have FA Cup, which is
hold
once
on,
every
Mark.
2 weeks.
Hold on, Mark. So we are paying 1/3 of his wages, right?
Yeah.
And there's no buyout, no fixed buyout
No, but
price.
you have to understand, Sir Jim is not allowing the club to make any definitive decisions at the moment. So what happens is that he's basically said just send him on loan. We'll take the
Hmm.
loss of the loan fee because we did get a loan fee from Dortmund, mind you. My bad, I forgot to announce that.
How
We
much was that?
received a loan fee for Dortmund. I'm not sure how much it is, but I think it covers 3/4 of his salary or a bit more, and we
Okay.
pay or something like that. What I do know is that Sir Jim they authorized him to go out on loan as well as a
Hmm.
few other players, and
Hmm.
they're gonna deal with it in the summer. They don't want to delay on trying to sell him right now
So yeah, it
for a
makes sense. It
loss.
makes it
You
makes
know what I mean?
perfect sense. Yeah. All right, it makes sense that way because I don't want them selling him for cheap.
Boxes coming in loud. Not sure if Sancho will ever fulfill his potential, to be honest. You need mentality plus application. 100% agree with you, Box. 100%, my bro. And let's get right into this one. Young Matias Maia, young Spanish international striker from Manchester United, 19-year-old. He's in a rich vein of form, and Sevilla is looking to bring him in on a free transfer as the club doesn't seem to be offering a brand new contract to extend him to a senior player. So we have some outgoings beside Jadon Sancho that's happening right now. I'm moving on. Hannibal is also under serious interest from Freiburg. There's also a move from Lyon for him, but I think he's definitely going to be heading to Freiburg. You know what I mean? So I think that's
Yeah.
going to be good for Hannibal.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
clubs
For
interested want
play.
him available to give
Yeah.
him
Playing in the
give him game
Bundesliga
time.
wouldn't be a bad idea. Playing in the Bundesliga wouldn't be a bad idea at all.
Yeah, 100%. Facundo Palestri is said to have received some interest for loan by the Sir Jim Ratcliffe-owned OG Nice. They're interested in having move in the next coming week to for a half season loan spell. I think this might be a good move. He might help Sir Jim's old new other club top the French league, getting game time, scoring some goals, getting himself some, frequent time, giving Eric Ten Hag a headache that he needs. A winger coming back in top form. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I wish, that maybe he could get more game time and start, but at the same time, it happens, man. It happens. What are your thoughts on that? Drex.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just this one in itself. It actually baffles me because um it's not like Anthony is doing anything different. That's you see, this is one of the reasons why I have an issue with Eric Ten Hag, right? It's not like Anthony is pulling up trees. Anthony is doing anything superb. This young kid can actually give us. He's might not be defensive. His defensive contribution might not be as much as that of Anthony, but his forward and offensive contribution, if in my opinion at the moment, is way better than Anthony's. Right now, two of them are both different style of play. One is a right foot right winger, the other one is a left foot right winger. Right, but Eric Ten Hag should be um, giving this kid some chance. It should be. If you're going to be giving Ganacho time, then you should be giving this guy some chance as well, right? So maybe Eric Ten Hag has decided to say, you know what, Marcus Rashford will get back his left wing position, then I'm gonna be trying Garnacho on the right wing position sometimes, right? But that being said, I believe what's his name? I believe Facundo Pellistri should be getting some game time. I don't understand. 20 minutes, 15 minutes, if not every game, but every other game would do the boy a lot of good.
True. And I look at it this way, man. I feel like Facundo Palestri is just not his time yet to be in the squad. I feel like, he's a good player. I feel like he should get game time, but at the same time, I'm looking at it from this perspective.
Hmm.
We were already planning to send him on loan. He was kept because we weren't able to keep Mason Greenwood. And I feel like he has strongly planned for Mason Greenwood to be that right winger, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now you have Anthony, who is an option or a competition option for the right wing. Then you have Garnacho, who's competing with Rashford for the left wing. And I feel like, that was the initial plan. So I feel
Hmm.
like things are going back to the initial plan. You know what I mean? In my
Yeah.
opinion, I feel like maybe United bring Mason Greenwood back and reintroduce him to the squad, and they bite the bullet on the PR. But you never know what could happen. And like I think Palestri, people might say it's unfair to him, but everyone's development runs a different course. Sometimes
No, but
managers
when you
give
when you,
some
when you
players
s-
less game
but
time purposely.
when you said development, right?
Mhm.
This guy is a Uruguay
Yeah, but at the
international.
same time, you have to remember he was bought under a different manager.
True,
Eric Ten
true.
Hag probably sees a talent in him and probably has an idea of the way how he wants him to play in his squad. So
Hmm.
maybe it's just a matter of him changing his style to suit that. You never know what could happen. So in my opinion, I don't always look at things surface level and say like people would think Eric Ten Hag probably disliked Jaden Sancho. And I think for a manager to send a player on away for 3 months, hire a team to train him and take care of him and get him onto the levels that he needs to be and defend him, he has to see lots of potential and has a high hopes or
No, I
expectation
don't
for a
see
player to do something like that.
anybody that says Eric Ten Hag dislikes um Jadon Sancho, right? The person is just talking from face value. The person is just talking from the place of maybe player FC kind of thing because their player is not playing, right? Um, because tell me which player among the even in the current United team, even before this one, I can't remember a coach giving a manager giving a player 3 months timeout in a season, not preseason, during the season. So that shows that the manager actually cares. That shows that the manager actually believes in your ability, right? Now coming back to do now the manager just probed you saying okay whatever he said, right? Thinking okay you would get you have maybe the manager actually thought this guy has some sort of mental capacity to deal with comments like that, might take it on and be the better version of himself, just like Harry Maguire did, right? But he went the other way and the manager was like okay. Believe if Sancho hadn't put that thing up on Twitter and let it run that course for which he did, I think this thing would have been settled. The media,
Long
on the
time. I
other hand,
think I felt
the
like
media, on the
Manchester
other hand,
United might have had a whole different course of their season right now. Because imagine Anthony was out for 6 weeks. Sancho
true.
would have had six
He
weeks
didn't.
of
He didn't.
pure
He didn't.
game time
He didn't
starting,
think that. He didn't. He was. He was.
not
I think
using his brain right, man.
he was
It's silly,
ill
man.
advised. He was ill advised
Ill
because at
advised.
that yeah at that point in time we could can someone can one argue that maybe he's still having some level of mental weakness or something like that. Maybe he's going
Or
through
maybe
something,
just
right? But
not mature yet. He hasn't fully
yeah, so
matured
because
mentally.
so
So
because that was even while that thing was on, right? While that his tweet was on, that was the same time Anthony's story came up, right? Immediately, if it's somebody that would want to prove the manager wrong, immediately you bring that down, apologize, seize the opportunity and see. Because it's not like Anthony will come back from whatever he was coming back from and start hitting the ground running, right? So
100%.
it is what it is. He's gone to the Borussia Dortmund, but I'm just saying anybody that thinks the manager actually hates him, the person should just put their bias to one side and think again.
100%. And like I was thinking to myself, you know, about this art. I was watching the game and I saw the tackle that Mason Greenwood made, and then he turned around to the ref like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, like you know, to me it looked like similar to the tackle from Morgan Gibbs White on Johnny Evans. And the problem for me is that he did basically the same thing. He didn't even really dive into the tackle. He kind of slid into it. You know what I mean? So they
But I
they
know
gave him a
I don't think
um,
he got a red card for this. He actually
no.
the
What happened is when he made the tackle, right, and the
Mhm.
referee blew, he was frustrated. So I think he slammed the ball down, right, and the referee showed him
No.
a
If you no, if you watch, I watched the clip. The clip was he was tackled, right? So he was trying to he was trying to tell the referee, like, I've been tackled 4 times, but the referee just ignored it. But I believe he said something, because if you look at the clip properly, I believe he said something that actually that made the referee to actually issue him a red card. It was The red card is for more like a dissent, but it was for something he said, not the request for a yellow card or what's not. It was something
But still, in
Mason
my
Green was.
opinion, like you can't be mad. You know what I mean? In the sense that I've seen a lot of outrage, even in our chat group for MUFC Realist TV. Some of the guys are like, he's a wrongin. Just look at him. You know what I mean? This is what you expect from that kind of guy or whatever. But to me, it's like footballers. I mean, as a referee, you have a job to do the right thing. You know what I mean?
No,
And
but
throughout the
if
game,
yeah,
and he's been
but there are some
receiving some tough
languages.
tackles.
There
I
are
know.
some
I'm not trying to
languages you
excuse the
can
language
use.
that he used. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like a domino effect. You have to take control of the game as a referee. You can't let it get out of hand. Look at what happens to Bruno. You know what I mean? In about 5 games this season, we've seen him receive full-blooded tackles, studs up on his ankles or his shin, no yellow card or red card given to the players who made those tackles. While if a United player has done so, they would receive a yellow or a red card, more likely a red. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
in a way, I just felt like this was a moment of weakness for him. Frustration. Maybe he was just too
Mhm.
hyped on
Mhm.
emotion because they were playing Rayo Vallecano. He was getting chopped down throughout the game, and these things happen. So I wouldn't read too
True.
much into it. But the mob, they like to attack, and they would see this as
No,
some form of
I've seen
fuel to
I've
say that they are right about him.
one thing I've noticed about most, like, some of those United fans is they say they're United fans, right? But they they don't they pick and choose who they want to support. Like
100%.
if you can't be picking and you can't pick and choose. It's either you love it's now fine. You might be hating on him as a result of what happened, but the case he had, but the case was dropped. According to the statement, if I remember clearly, it was said that he's a free man. Case was They actually said that he's a free man. When I read that sentence, right, he's a free man, I'm like, okay. I wasn't in the courtroom. I didn't see the court transcript. I didn't see the transcript and all that. But there was something. No, he didn't go to court. My bad. Sorry, but I didn't see the transcript of whatever the charges were. And most people claiming to have seen it, they just telling a big lie. They don't know what
No,
transpired.
they saw videos online and they assumed,
That's
they said he was
I
charged
understand the
assault, right?
videos.
But some people
I,
online are saying that he's a rapist, which
I
is weird
understand.
for me.
I understand the video, right? I saw the video as well, but um people tend to just hold on to one side, which, fair play to them, it's their opinion. But the truth is, for me, I've learned to look at things from all angle. Right now, we don't know what happened. That's not where I'm going to. What I'm trying to say is, if it was deemed fit and the case was dropped, People say he bought the girl off or whatever, what's not. The fact that the two of them are still together, the fact that they
Just had
were
a daughter.
they just have a daughter, the fact that they we even saw a clip of them recently at whatchamacallit,
In
at
England.
in England, right? So it goes to show that people say, okay, some people, some victims find it hard to actually let go. They there's this line, there's this word that they use, I can't remember it right now, but it
Stockholm
doesn't.
syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. You're right. Thank you, bro. It doesn't look like that to me, right? The girl went with him to Spain. They are going everywhere. So, bro, I just feel like, am I being played here? You understand what I'm saying? This the old girl. If let's say, for example, it was the girl that put out the stuff, am I being played? You put out something right there. You're supposed to be protecting yourself, but yet you're with the same person you quote and unquote alleged to have done something to you, right? Are you playing me? You know what? You know what? I'm not gonna fall for that. I just let you be. I still neutral and just do what I have to do. Do I see him as a bad person? No. Do I see him as a good person? No. Is that it is what it is for me. For me, I see him as a good footballer. Whatever United, especially with the new structure, whatever they decide to do with him, let them do. But in my opinion, they shouldn't sell that boy for anything less
Than 90
than
million.
anything less. I would you okay 90 million. Okay, good. I was gonna say 80, but anything less than
80,
90.
bro.
No,
He
I
is
was gonna
too.
say
He is. Let me tell you something, right? If Rashford was
with the
was
age, with the age,
was
with
offered 80 million, right?
yeah.
He is Rashford with his left foot, and he's another Rashford with his right foot. So he had two Rashford in him. So he's really twice the price of Rashford, in my opinion. But let me move on because you know what? In my opinion, I feel like God is good and he will get a second chance to represent the Red Devils where he was aiming to do from since a child, 12 years old, been at the club 8 years. You know, I think he still has a story to write here. So let's just hope for that. For those of you who don't like that idea, well, you know, I'm not trying to be offensive, but you know, to each their own. You know, the international fan base, I could surely say that we all know what forgiveness is and what mistakes are. And, you know, we don't just always look at things one way and we all think that maybe the youngster deserves a second chance. So let's move right along. Pablo Dybala, 13 million rated Serie A
Dybala,
star, destination bound Manchester United. What are your thoughts?
Dybala, Paulo Dybala. Is it the same Dybala we talking about? The
Yeah,
one that plays for Roma?
yes.
What are we?
30
What are what?
million euros to Manchester
30,
United.
30 million euros. That's like what? 20, 23, 25 million pounds.
No, that's like 11 or maybe 10 million pounds, bro.
10 million pounds. Where is he gonna play?
What do you mean? If we sell McTominay and sell Maguire and Hannibal
I'm
Medri
not.
goes on loan,
I'm not
I would
saying.
play him in front of Mason Mount. That's where he plays for me. He plays in front ahead of
Oh,
Mason Mount. Bruno
I don't want
drops
to
to the
sound.
8,
I don't want to. I don't want
Dybala
to
in the
sound
10,
like. Yeah, yeah. I
and
hear you.
Kobe in the 6. You know what I mean? Or you rotate. You know, you could rotate. Bruno at 10, Dybala at 10,
Mhm.
Casemiro next to Kobe. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You know, I somehow feel like with the likes of Dango Jr. and Kobe Mainu, I feel like there's gonna be a shakeup in our midfield. I feel like we're gonna move Ericsson on before by the summer. I feel like we're gonna move on one or two players, in my opinion. You know, and Dango Jr., it's said that, you know, Dortmund is set to set a 40 million purchase for Dango Jr.,
No,
but United are
no.
set to rebuff all offers for the youngster, and he may as well
Exactly.
go on loan, but
He
they're
should go
offering
on
a
loan.
brand new contract.
He should go on loan. United should offer him a brand new contract. He should go on loan. A Dortmund side that knows how to use a
Develop
young
youngsters, right?
talent, right, and sell that talent back to you for cheap, for expensive, for good price. So I don't really. The truth is, I don't really rate Dortmund in terms of. I don't know how to just. I just see them as a breeding team. The breed players sell. That's their MO. It's good for them, but they shouldn't come close to anything. Dan Gore at the moment, 40 million. Are they silly? What do they think we're doing? We're running a charity? Hell no.
100%. And as we keep it moving, this is the hot topic right now. As it has been said, Manchester United have deposited 40 million euros to Atalanta in a bid to sign young Giorgio Scalvini this January in the window in the next coming week. And it is
Wait,
said
are
that the
we?
youngster
Wait,
was
wait,
a
wait.
sort of heavily sought of by Real Madrid. But with
Are
the
we?
bid by Manchester United, Real Madrid has to now up their bid if they want to secure his signature. He's also known to be very best friends with our new striker, Hoyland. And, could that be a bonus to his move to Manchester United? The young CB is are likened to the likes of Alessandro Nesta and even Maldini, where his name has that similar kind of sound. He's a progressive defender, very good on the ball, very technical, very competent, wins all his duels in the air. He's a progressive player. He's very quick. He's not the speediest, but he is very quick over a distance. So, it's more like a 6'1" guy, 20 years old, very mobile. What can go wrong?
Yeah. What can nothing like? And another thing I would say about this one is, if United can, because everything now looks more like a report, right? Spain, Spain, Spain. But if United can bring this kid in, it gives the kid it gives Hoyland some I don't know how, like, it
Some
makes
sort of
Hoyland.
normalcy.
Yeah, because Orlan now sees that, okay, I have somebody I know, I have somebody I used to play with in the team, so I have maybe they might not be as close as we I'm thinking it to be, but a face that he's familiar with comes in through the door. Now that same player sees a face, the two of them sees faces that they are familiar with. It makes their new player settles quickly. It even gives Ireland an extra um
Just because
settlement
he
in terms of, yeah,
might
he
know
has
his
somebody.
style and know what to expect from
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So as a center back, that guy can actually tell other person, okay, this is what this guy is good at, this is what this guy is good at, right? In terms of trying to pitch his attributes to the other team members. But if United can get this deal done, it will be fantastic.
100%. I totally agree with you there. And it's the big one as Manchester United set to lead the race with a clear pole position run in for Nice defender John Claire Todibo as transfer talks fall through with Spurs. There's also been reports that Sir Jim Ratcliffe had green lighted the move. So we're not too sure 100% on if this is actually what is happening or if it is actually, something just happening recently and
Like
we're just saying
like I
the
like I've said, I think it was the previous show, right? I said, if the price is right, get him. If the price is right, you get him. You want to get rid of Maguire, do it now. Or you say, you know what, Todibo come in. You might not get as much game time as you would, but guess what? Maguire leaves in the summer. It's a guarantee. Maguire or Lindelof leaves. One of them have to leave. In fact, both of them have to leave in the summer, right? So you get your Todibo in. So, like I always say, if the price is right, get him. We still have the young Kambuala guy that can actually come in, have his own cameo here and there. So 15 minutes, 20 minutes can even start a game, right?
Mhm.
So if the talks are falling through between himself, his camp, or Nice and that at Tottenham, it just puts us, if we are interested or if we have actually have anything concrete in this report, then it puts us in a pole position to actually get him. So
100%.
maybe Sir Jim actually is the reason why the talks actually fell through between Nice and
No, like I said,
Tottenham.
Sir Jim green lighted the transfer to
Oh,
Spain.
Sir Jim greenlighted the transfer to go to Tottenham.
Mhm.
That man must be. What is he trying to do? Well,
You
he's a
know, business is
businessman.
business.
I know business. That's what I'm gonna say. He's a businessman. You don't mix business with pleasure, so he's got to do what he's got to do. Now,
And this is Dragosin, the general defender that Manchester United and Spurs are both interested in. And it's £35 million if the player says yes to January transfer. Man United are in, and this is the
But
reports.
the question is, if United are in for this guy, and United are also in for that Atalanta center back, then what's the need for, I don't. So are you saying we're going to be getting three center backs? Because if I'm thinking right, United are looking to move Maguire on, move Lindelof on, and report or rumor, I would say report has it that they're looking to move Varane on as well. So are you saying all three? I don't think all three is
I
possible,
don't think
but
they're gonna move three. I think they might bring in three center backs, but move two. Because if you look at the prices and the
mhm,
wage structure, which will be different,
yeah.
Harry Maguire and Lindelof would probably pay for both defenders to come into the club. Because I'm pretty sure if we sell Lindelof, we could probably get at least 40 million for him. You know what I
Lindelof
mean?
40 million,
Yeah, easy,
bro. What tea are
easy.
you drinking?
Bro,
40
I'm not
million.
drinking tea. I'm looking at it for real. Like a team will come in. Lindelof has been a decent player. He hasn't been
I
terrible.
know
He's
Lindelof.
very good.
Lindelof would do well in the Barcelona side.
Exactly. Not only in Barcelona, like Lindelof could do really well. Even at he could replay. He could go and play in Madrid.
Yeah, he could do well in a top Spanish side though. Lindelof, he has
Exactly.
that
So,
he
like,
has that in
in
him.
my honest
But
opinion, maybe
40
we sell
million, I would say
Lindelof to
I would
Real
put him
Madrid.
25, 30 million. That's where I'll put him.
Yeah,
What's
but
his how
any
many
25,
what's
35,
his
it gets us to paying for this guy who's 25, who's 35 million. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if we sell him and Maguire, that's
mhm,
a roughly something like 55, 60, 65 million for the both of them.
mhm,
You know, we could get into center backs because we don't
mhm.
have to pay the full fee outright. You know what I mean? We can pay in installments. So it's just something as I was thinking because I also read that the FFP is not that serious because as long as Sir
Yeah,
Jim
I was
Ratcliffe
reading
puts
that
money
thing with
into the club by June
yeah.
30th midnight 2024, we could spend upwards of 300 million even in January, and it won't affect FFP. It would affect what we spend in the summer, which is different. But I would say, in my opinion, if we change our defense now, it could only be better for us going forward to December, to the summer. You know what I mean? The players will have had 6 months in the team. They would be ready and roaring. We would start the season off running. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Let's move it along. So we are getting into the loan segment where these are the players that might be coming in on loan. As we have said to have spoken to the agents of Timo Werner, but not yet to RB Leipzig. So there might be a move in for this guy. I'm not going to talk too much about it because you know what? I don't really care either way. If he comes in as a as a backup striker, it is what it is. As long as it's a loan and not a permanent move, I don't really care.
But
You know what
do
I
you
mean?
think he's gonna come? We don't have Champions League.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to come, but you know what I mean? He hasn't been getting any game time at all. So if he's going to get a few games, I think he might come because he hasn't played more than like 80 minutes in the last 6 months for them. So
So what are we doing? Why are we getting a player that hasn't gotten game time?
well, we need backup for Hoyland, and if Anthony and from what I know, Anthony Martial is finding his way out the door in the next week. So we're gonna need cover at striker, unless they were to bring back Mason Greenwood or something like that. So you know what I mean? Because I
It's only
also heard
it's
that
only
Joe
it's
Hugel is going to Ipswich on loan.
it's only wise, and it's only wise and fair to actually recall Greenwood back. That
100%.
then I don't know. And you see, the club's got to do what's best for them, and not actually all the time listen to what the fans got to say. They've got to do
100%.
what's best for them. They've got to factor in so many variables into their decision making. Now, Mason Greenwood coming back, will he help the team? Of course he will help the
100%.
team. Does
Not
that
only
make
that, but the manager planned for him this season to be a
no?
starter in the team.
I don't. I'm not even looking at the manager at this point. I'm looking at United in terms of making the decision. Now, these are the things you check out. Is he going to help the team? Yes, it would help the team. Is he one of those like one of those commercial player? He isn't. So it's not like um there'll be too much damage on the quote unquote United brand, right? For crying out loud, we are still owned by the Glazers. So if anything was going to damage the football image, the Glazers should be doing that, not a player, right? So now fans, some fans might say, I'm not going to go watch him play. I'm not going to celebrate if he scores a goal. What's not? Now to the fans that says they're not going to watch him play, they're going to turn in their season ticket. You didn't do that for to get rid of the Glazers, but you want to do it because of a player coming back. Make it make sense.
Make it
Now
make sense, my bro.
for for those that would say they wouldn't celebrate if he scores a goal, but you would celebrate or you'll be okay when we get into the Champions League and you'll be like, okay, you know what, United did what they had to do to get things going. At the end of the day, you don't mix business with emotions. It's already clear and it's already glaring to everybody that cares to look at it that United is actually a business club, a commercial club, as to a football club. Now we know
100%.
Sir Jim is trying to come set the football structure right, right? But don't forget he's only having a 25 stake in it. So there's other 75, in my opinion, quote unquote, still is a commercial side. Now United would have to do what they have to do to bring result because guess what? The, the better the results, the better the commercial side, and the better deals they can get in terms of sponsorship and all of that. So
100%.
I mean, for me, in my opinion, like I said, I'm neutral. Anything United want to do, they should do. But I would suggest they look at what's best for them as a football club, as a commercial club that they have decided to be, right? And give us result like my granddad used to say, bless his soul. He says result cancels insult. So when the result is coming, people might not have much to say rather than just grumble and they'll be more like um grumbling under their breath. So it is what it
100%.
is. You don't have to celebrate. The club just has to get the 3 points, keep the results coming, keep the W's coming, build up the team confidence and just move with it. That's it. You don't have we don't need
100%. Totally agree. And
the people don't
hot
need
pursuit.
me to go ahead.
Manchester United's hot pursuit of Serhu Garassi contingent on money from sales. Like we've been mentioning, bro. Like if we
I like
possibly get some
I
sales.
prefer this guy. I prefer this guy to the Timo Werner. I don't know why. I just prefer because if Timo hasn't had much game time in what in about 3 to 5 months, right? I'd rather just how much is this guy? I think is this
15
is
million.
15 million. What are we saying? We can't raise
Yeah,
15
but
million.
he wants to start. He wants game time.
Of
That's
course, he's gonna get game time. He's
yeah, but
gonna,
he's not gonna be us. He wants to be starting as the striker. He wants to start. He doesn't
bro.
want to be the
He's
second striker to Hoyland.
he he's gonna start. Who told him Ireland is the main starter? He's gonna start. He should just come in.
Oh well, I mean,
He's
I just say like in my
I
honest
understand what you're
opinion.
saying, but I'm just saying I understand what you're saying, right? But bro, we're getting you for 15 million, right? Of course, you might be thinking, okay, the 70 or 72 million pounds player might have an edge over me. But guess what? You're coming to a new league, you're coming to a new team, right? There's someone here before you.
Earn
So
his
you
stripes.
the manager would have to slowly bed you into the team so you can get accustomed to how things are being done. So you don't just I understand players wanting to start, right? But what happens when you just jump into the fire without actually understanding? Because now we could argue both ways. He gets a start and he hits the ground running, or he gets a start and he's finding it difficult to actually cope with the Premier League. In my opinion, um, just bringing him in slowly, just the same way the manager did Casemiro, bringing Casemiro in slowly, slowly, and we saw how it helped Casemiro, right? Not saying
100%.
that Casemiro wasn't a super player. I'm just saying sometimes you just need to slowly um, get introduced into the team and into the league to actually understand how it's going. Because now, if Ireland is starting a game and you're coming in maybe for say 20, 25 minutes, you could actually see you already read the game. You actually know what you want to do with those defenders and with your teammates to actually break the line. So you come in, you start the game, right? You get the goals, you put your mark on the manager such that it becomes a very tough decision for the manager to make in terms of who to start. That's how I see it. Not just sitting and saying, okay, you'd have to. No. What if you come in and you don't hit the ground running? So what's the manager gonna do? Keep playing you? No, no, no. But that being
100%.
said, I would still take him though. I take him over Timo Werner.
100%. And I won't disagree with you on that. So now, as that's the end of the presentation that we had for you guys tonight. I would give my thoughts on Eric Ten Hag as a closing statement, and then Drex will give his thoughts. I'm an Eric Ten Hag in fan. To be fair, I think the manager has came in to a tough situation. He's thrown into the deep end in a club that has no structure behind it. He's had to do everything: manage, scout players, bring in players, change the structure, direct people, and try to change everything in the club and the culture and get things done. He's taken Manchester United to third place last season with 75 points, the highest total since Alex Ferguson. In his first season, also winning a Carabao Cup, playing in two English Cup finals, as well as FA Cup. And I think this season, although the form has not been great, the performances have not been perfect. We are at 31 points, which is 1 point shy of where we were at the same 18 games last season. And we finished with 75 points in third. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe even if we don't finish with 75 points, we could probably still get 65 or maybe 70 points because he's done the same thing last season. We're only a point behind. And I think this season we've suffered with 16 injuries to start, including the entire back four of key players and defenders who made up the spine that took us to 18 clean sheets last season. And we have been unable to use any of them fully fit so far this season, except for Rafael Varane, who only returned in the last three games, as well as Diego Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Luke Shaw was injured until the last seven games, and for my opinion, he hasn't looked himself since he came back. So, and those are not the only injuries we had. We've had injuries in the attack line, players stricken with illness. So it's been a lot going on with Manchester United in and amongst the club, based on the football pitch and as well as outside, as we have seen some fans, a minority of fans, protest out Mason Greenwood, who was set to be a starting role, important impact player in the squad this season by Eric Ten Hag, as well as Anthony facing allegations, 6 months, not sure whether he's going to be playing football or not, missing from the team for more than 7 weeks, only to return and find himself playing in decent form for 7 games, but then having two bad games and, back to square one with the fans who are going to hate on him. So, in my honest opinion, I'm not going to say Eric Ten Hag out, but I will say this much: Eric Ten Hag in, give the manager time. I've seen the positives because for the first 10 games of the season, I was complaining about the team looked uninterested. They looked lethargic. We were scraping by when we were winning games. But in the last few games, what I can say is we have been the better team in each of those games. We've defended well, compactly. We've created lots of chances to score goals. And not only that, we've been averaging 3 goals a game in the games when we do score goals. Only the last game and the game before, we hadn't scored goals in the last 7 games, which 4 of those games saw us score 3 goals apiece. And in my honest opinion, even in the last 2 games where we did lose 2-0 and 2-1, Manchester United were the better team. As the stats would show, we had more shots on target, more possession, more corners, more attacking, big chances created. We also had a better goal XG ratio or expected goal ratio as well. So, in my honest opinion, the manager, despite having a tougher time this season, and with some players who were very important last season not performing as well this season, you would tend to think that for some strange reason, the manager is doing a decent job. And in my opinion, I don't think any other manager in the league who would have suffered more than 16 or let's say even as close to 26 injuries so far this season would be even close to where we are in the table, which has not fell lower than seventh since the start of December. And other managers who have not been even talked about or pressed on have been in eighth for more than 6 weeks or 10th for more than 2 months, but they don't get talked about. It's only Eric Ten Hag. I've seen the style of play. I enjoy it myself. And I think the more and more players get familiar with it and the new players that come into the club that actually are made for it, I think the team will improve. I think we will be a better attacking team. I think we will take a lot of teams by surprise in the coming weeks. And I'm just going to give the manager time because this is 1.5 seasons of a rebuild that usually would take 3 to 4 years if we're using Man City, Liverpool, or Arsenal as any yardstick to measure. Drex, what are your thoughts, my bro, as we close the show?
Yo, I really I hear what you're saying, right? The only one of the things I actually have against the manager is we don't we are not scoring goals. Now we out of the Champions League, right? No one would think that okay, we've got more time on our hands to actually perfect his tactics and training and all of that. But the team comes out and sometimes look super lethargic, look like they are lost, look like they don't know what to do per time. For me, okay, the first 50 minutes, your players are not looking like they got the instruction you gave to them. How about you try to, I don't know, do something, right? No, but that sometimes that being said, we could say okay, it's on the players to actually get self motivation. I understand that. We're not scoring goals. We're not creating as much clear chances to actually make goals. Now we have a front three of Ganacho, Rashford, Oyland. I will even put Oyland in there and Anthony. Yet no creativity. Yet sometimes we tend to do hero ball. I don't know why the manager still allows it. Do I know that for sure? No. But I feel like if he if he has put the line, if he has put his foot down on those hero kind of ball, I think we would have been seeing more integration among the front three. The one of the few times I saw integration among the front three was against the Villa game. Other than that, I haven't really seen integration among the front three. Now you have a Pelestri that can actually contribute to some level of creativity for you, but you still don't use him. You want to stick your guns to Anthony. You want to stick your guns to Rashford and Garnacho. These three do this thing, do the same thing week in week out. with di- No different result. How about you mix it up? How about you just? I'm not saying give the Pelestri um full 90 minutes. Give him Anthony plays his beat 70 minutes. Pelestri can come for 20 minutes. He's got pace. He's got a few tricks in his box. He can actually take his man and he knows how to put the ball in the danger zone. So if all of this is the reason why I'm looking at this manager like, do you really know your players? Fine, injury has been a problem for him, but in terms of creativity, in terms of knowing his players, right? I feel like he's taking a gamble. He's trying to reward players that got him third position and a cup from last season. He's trying to reward them even when they are not producing. A manager should always look at each season as a brand new season and not cast his mind back on what happened the previous season. The previous season is gone and is done with. Focus on this new season. If the players that bailed you out the last season are not doing it at the moment, look for players within your squad that can do it, right? So that being said, I feel like maybe the United job is just too big for him. Maybe it's just too big for him. And we that's my opinion. Maybe people can argue and says no, we've had injuries, we don't have structure. I understand all of that. But in with the little you've had, if you can't make anything meaningful out of it, what gives me, in my opinion, what gives me the trust that you could actually do something when you have more, you have
You there? Yo, Drex. My bro. Damn, bro. Guys, it looks like Drex cut out there. I'm not sure what happened just now. Let's hopefully will come back in a few seconds. Guys, and he was really cooking there. You know what I mean? Even as a Ten Hag fan, I can still say that I agree with some of his judgments. You know, I don't always agree with the starting lineup. I don't always agree with everything that he's done, but at the same time, you know, I would look at it from the perspective where things take time, and no matter how much you desire it to happen this way or you look for answers, sometimes you just don't have answers. It's just a matter of a gamble taken, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? That's just how I look at football. And guys, don't forget to join us tomorrow. You know what I mean? We're going to be back with more of the Manchester United views, Standards FC, guys. This has been episode 1. Thank you to my buddy Drex for joining me. And you know what it is, your boy Mark, and MUFC fan. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. And we'll be here tomorrow bringing to you the roundup of that day of transfers and latest news, breaking news around the Premier League. Not just Man United, guys, because today was special. You know what I mean? But tomorrow we're going to come with around the horn, all the Premier League news. Guys, stay tuned. Big up if you're new. Like, share, and subscribe. And get in. Leave your comments in the non-live section. Let me know your thoughts. Who team you support? What players you'd like to see your club bring in this winter window? Big up to my buddy Drex. Don't forget to give him a shout out at D Hub Sports, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. It's been your boy, and we out. Oh.